thinking would ever lie there pouring you. Same old suits, different time.
Welcome to Back to the Show, folks. Happy Tuesday to you guys. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope the start of your week has been great. Yeah, I know where I'm at. It's starting to get a little bit warmer. We're out of the fucking single digits, so that's good. As you know, before we start every show, let's just get into the self-promotion part. We're going to make this nice, painful, and quick and easy. You can find me on all social media platforms at The Hammer Drops. Facebook and Instagram are the two that I'm most active on. Also over there on YouTube at The Hammer Drops. While you're there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Share the content. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I'm still on TikTok right now, but soon I will be off. So, if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do so is email me at david@thehammerdrops.com. It's the easiest way for me to be able to reply back to you, seeing as I get DMs in my inbox on Facebook and on Instagram, and it's honestly a little bit of a pain in the ass to keep track of everything. Sometimes they go in spam folders, so those I never check. So definitely email me if you want to get in touch. Now, let's get on with the fucking show because, a lot of stuff has happened just over the weekend from Friday on. Let's just be honest. The Friday walkout. We're going to talk about the Friday walkout first because something happened that doesn't sit very well with me, and that's when teachers and schools try to be the parent. What happened over the weekend is two children who were part of a school, and the school let them come out and protest, and the kids ended up walking into the street and getting killed because of negligence on the teachers. Let's just call it for what it is, folks. It's exactly that. All those teachers are doing, they're not explaining why you're protesting. They're just using them as little talk, like mouthpieces, and to be able to stand on a pedestal to show that they're morally right for protesting ICE and everything that's going on. I know. And I'm sure I'm going to catch fucking slack from a lot of people about this. But do I trust ICE fully? No, I don't. Because anything that has power can be corrupted. If you haven't learned anything by watching my shows, by any of the podcasts that I do, that's one thing that you should take away from it. Power corrupts the uncorruptible. Let's just be honest. It does. The problem that I have with the teachers doing this is, the kids go to school to learn and for a safe place. You literally took these kids out of school. Well, not necessarily out of school, but out of the classroom where they be learning so they can protest your beliefs. These kids don't know what the fuck's going on. The only reason why they may have some inclination on what's going on is because you're feeding them your fucking bullshit ideology, your fucking talking points, and that's it. Let's just be honest. Because if you weren't, those kids would be in school. But my major problem is the fact that these fucking teachers seem to think it's okay to parent other people's kids while the parents are at work. And see, that's not right. Again, it's a place to learn, and it's a safe place for the kids, not, again, to stand so you can stand on your fucking little pedestal and have these, look, we have kids that are out doing this. They all agree to it. Motherfuckers, if you've told the kids that they're going out picking dandelions or going to find fucking salamanders or frogs or something like that, the kids are going to come out of the classroom because they're going to want to go do it because the teacher makes it sound interesting. And that's probably what you guys did. You made it sound interesting. So the kids, any kid that, you tell them that, hey, we're going to leave the classroom, they're going to fucking go. So the blood of these two children are on your fucking hands for doing it. And I hope that school district fires those fucking teachers. Hell, I hope something drastically happens to these school districts for allowing this to happen. Schools should never get involved in this shit because it's just not right. My tax dollars doesn't pay for you to tell kids that we're going to protest about ICE because we don't like them. We don't like what ICE is doing. ICE is so bad that we're going to protest against them, and we're going to have your kids do it as well, even though maybe those parents actually accept ICE. Now, as I said, I don't support ICE 100% because I think there's a lot of things that we need to talk about as far as ICE goes. Use of force. I don't agree with that in some instances. After watching some of these videos about that pretty guy up there in Minneapolis, it's plain as day. The guy, yes, he had a firearm in his waistband, but Minnesota allows concealed carry and open carry. So, yes, he was at a protest. We could sit here and debate that all fucking day, but it was his Second Amendment right to have his firearm with him. One thing that I don't agree with is the fact that he had his firearm with him. He was disarmed, and then after that, I think it was like 9 bullets went into this guy. Hey, I don't give a fuck where you stand, but that to me is a street killing right there. The guy wasn't going for a firearm. He literally had a phone from all these videos that I've seen. And until somebody proves that wrong, then that's what I'm going with. This guy was fucking killed on the street in front of people for, essentially for protesting. Protesting is your First Amendment right here. You're allowed to protest. You have the freedom of speech. You have the freedom to assemble. You have all that stuff. And what ICE did I don't agree with. Now, the Renee Good, completely different story. She slammed on the gas, was going to hit the cop, and, shit happens. You fucked around and found out there. But, again, power causes corruption. And I'm worried that the power, I guess you can say, that ICE has right now is going to be or can be a big issue down the road. So as long as that is kept in check, I'm okay. Fine. Keep it in check. Hold those liable that have done stupid shit like that officer that killed the guy. Because that just was not right. I don't care, left, right, whatever. And I'm sure I'm going to get shit for it, and that's fine. I don't care. But again, we got to have some sort of structure, some sort of checks and balances for these immigration officers. I also know, and I've heard that as far as ICE goes, people complain that they're picking up just regular old citizens, American citizens. And I've seen some videos of that as well, which is very alarming. And again, those officers should be held liable for that. But as I started digging a little bit more into ICE, one thing that was disturbing is the quota that they had, or that they have. That is a little disturbing. I hope what I was reading was just some more propaganda that's out there. I'm still looking into that. Once I have more information on that, I will bring that to you. You can count on that. But for right now, as far as ICE goes, that's kind of where I stand. They're not at the numbers that I think a lot of people want to see. I am all for get immigration. I'm all for it. Get the illegals out of here. They need to fucking go. Especially the Somalians up there in Minneapolis, Ohio, wherever the fuck those guys are at, you need to get them the fuck out of there, So, now that we're on the Somalians, let's talk about the Somalians here. Let's talk about Ilhan Omar and her little staged event that she had up there in Minneapolis. It's kind of odd that, well, it's actually not fucking odd. Let's just be honest. Pretty dies, this fucking degenerate fucking congresswoman comes out and she holds a press conference. What I find funny about this is this guy that gets up, he literally, and I did a video on social media. You can see it over there on Instagram and Facebook. So this guy gets up out of his seat, starts walking to her. Now, security, I'm not a cop, I'm not security, I'm not nothing like that, but just human nature. If I was protecting somebody, if I see somebody get up and start walking towards that person, I'm getting my ass out of the seat and walking towards that person to make sure that that person isn't trying to go after the person I'm protecting. That never happened. Not once did that guy get up. That guy got up after the guy literally went into his fucking jacket, pulled out a syringe and sprayed her, turned the fucking corner and made it about 10 feet. And then he gets fucking tackled. What's even more interesting about this, after you get sprayed, Ilhan Omar goes over and walks towards this guy to show that she's so defiant and so strong and bold and all that shit. Bitch, we know it was a fucking setup. It was theater. It was to keep the tensions high in Minneapolis. We know this. If you're fucking smart, You know exactly what she was doing. And that's what she was doing. So this guy gets fucking tackled and he gets, taken away. And then she goes back up. Everybody's saying, oh, you smell so bad. You should go get checked out. Do you realize there's a few things that smell really bad that comes in a liquid form, and one of them happens to be deer piss and skunk piss that you can buy, that you can get sprayed with. But, regardless, I'm sure she probably did not go get checked out because she knows exactly what was in there, because it was staged. You can't fucking do it any other way, Then, the one thing that has everybody up in an uproar for so long, the Epstein files. Oh my God, we got the Epstein files coming. We're going to throw them all away. They're all guilty, 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 guilty. So you got your Epstein files. They dropped like 3 million pages of them, videos, pictures, documents, leads, all of that fun stuff. And it's been very, very quiet on both sides of the aisle, because literally it exposes both sides. It exposes the Democrats and exposes the Republicans. Names of prominent Democrats, prominent Republicans, prominent celebrities. I believe it was Beyonce has lost like 20 million followers. Jay-Z completely scrubbed his social media. That doesn't scream guilt at all. But names could be in files, and it doesn't mean you're guilty. Now, I want you to listen very closely, because this is where I stand in this situation. If you are guilty of causing harm to children, I don't care if you are fucking Donald Trump. I don't fucking care if you're Elon Musk. I don't fucking care if you're Ilhan Omar, fucking Joe Biden, Barack Obama. If you cause any injury or anything like that to a child, you should be thrown in fucking jail. And the book should be thrown. Hell, you know what? Let's just be honest. Jail, taxpayers just keep on fucking paying it. Let's just be fucking honest here real quick. If you're found that you cause any harm to any child, you should just be taken out back and put a slug in you. Like an old dog that has rabies. I'm calling it for what it is. I don't condone that. I don't give a fuck who you are, right, left, middle, whatever. If you're guilty of it or if you've done it, you need to be taken out back. Plain and simple. But the funny thing is, again, is that nobody's talking about the Epstein files, But people were quick didn't matter what the fuck you posted. You can post anything about anything that has nothing to do about politics. But because something might trigger some bootlicking son of a bitch, they're going to think that release the files. And that was their only comeback. So liberals, what do you got now? You going to throw in ICE? Are you going to throw in... you don't have the Epstein files no more because they're fucking there. You can literally go to the DOJ website and siphon through 3 million pages of documents. But again, it doesn't show guilt. Names could be in there. Trump's name was in there thousands of times. Bill Clinton's name was in there thousands of times, and I have never heard one liberal fucking call out him for being in there, saying that he was guilty. But because Trump and his name was in there, he's automatically guilty because you don't like him, because you allow a politician to live rent-free in your head. And you refuse to look at the whole picture of things. And like I said, they released the files, but the whole thing was just nothing more than a distraction. Because if you honestly think there's going to be accountability for anybody, and I mean anybody, you're fucking delusional. Because there will never be accountability for any of these people. Why? Because that was done by design. It was designed that way. It was designed to distract you from everything else that's going on. Let's just be honest. Anything that's happening is not real at this moment. It's all theater. It's there to distract you. And it blows my mind that people like myself can come out here and tell you that it's literally a fucking distraction, and you refuse to believe it. You're chasing headlines with all these fucking protests. All you're doing is chasing headlines. That's it. You want to have your No Kings protests? Fine, go have your No Kings protests. But do you realize, if this was a monarchy, those that would be protesting that would be dead. They would round you up. They would round you up and kill you. Look what's happening in Iran. The Iranian people are going against their government. What happened? Complete blackout. They killed 12,000 people. Still, has the United States gone in there yet? No, but we got warships over there. See, again, another distraction. The questions that you need to be asking yourself is, what are they trying to distract you from? Well, one of the big things that they're trying to distract you from and keep your mind off of is the 2030 agenda. If you're not familiar with the 2030 agenda, just look into the WEF. They've said it time and time again, one world government, one world religion. What is the easiest thing to control? A third world mind. Why do you think there's been such an influx on Muslims and Middle Easterns going into Western countries or even in Europe? It's because it's easier to control. Those are the people that are going to go there and create destruction and chaos and all this stuff. And you're going to be begging for your government to do something about it. Well, they will. And that is exactly when all your rights will be stripped away. And they're going to be able to usher it in nice and easy because you wanted it. See, again, it's done by design. It's a proven fact that a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, they literally have an IQ that is borderline retarded. Okay? It's proven. IQs less than 60. Those are the people that are easy to control and easy to manipulate. And that's exactly what they're doing with them. They're manipulating them to come to these countries. Or actually, probably, I would imagine that the WEF, so they, because we're only 4 years out, they're really playing a big role into this and ushering them in to these countries to help the takeover. Look what's going on in the UK right now. It's complete fucking chaos. I mean, I would honestly have to sit here and say that I think the UK they're just done. Okay? If we watch what's happening in the UK, it's going to happen here in the United States if we do not do something about it. And unfortunately, white liberal women, yes, you guys seem to want Sharia law, and it's coming. It doesn't matter what kind of proof we give to you and show you what will happen if Sharia law comes in. All your rights will be gone. You will not have a voice. Everything that your ancestors and your grandparents and all that stuff fought for will be gone. You can't leave your house unless you have a man with you. You can't do anything unless your man agrees to it. If you disobey your man, your husband, whatever you want to call it, he literally has the right to take you out to the city streets and kill you. But this is what you want. And it blows my mind because women have fought for so long to have their rights. And yet liberal women are so quick to give them up. Let's look at sports. We've seen what happened with that. Men competing in women's sports, and you guys are okay with it. You guys are protesting for that. Yet, you don't seem to realize that a lot of the women in those sports spend their whole lives to get to the point where they're at. But you're okay with a man coming in there because they identify as a woman and compete in those sports. And now we're seeing it with Sharia law. We saw it when Ma'am Domney won over there in fucking New York. Plenty of videos going out that, yay, we're welcoming in Sharia law. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you liberal women? You are what is fucking going to destroy this country. Let's just be honest. You liberal women want to get on your pedestal, feel righteous, and feel above everybody else because you don't agree with your book club or you heard it in your book club, so you want to stay fitted in with your book club or your PTA bullshit, so you're going to just go with it. And it's showing. That's exactly what you're doing. You're just going with it. No research, no nothing, and it's plain as day. You guys are just fucking going with it, and it blows my mind 100%. I just don't fucking get it. Like, I mean, if that was me, I would be like, get the fuck out of here. Hell, I've been saying it, get the fuck out of here. And I know there's very few pockets of Muslim nations that you can work with, get along with. But at the end of the day, even those people, if it came down to it, they're going to choose their own people. Just like Hispanics will choose their own people. African Americans will choose their own people. White people will choose their own. Well, white people won't choose their own people. What am I kidding? White dude can be getting his ass whooped by 5 black guys and nobody's going to fucking help. But the minute a black dude's getting his ass whooped by one white guy. Then you have about 6 black guys jumping on that one white guy. So it's like white folks, y'all got to start protecting each other a little bit better, because if you haven't noticed, they're trying to erase the white race. They really are. I mean, it's there. Statistics show that white people have had less kids this past year. Like it was 49% to 51% with every other culture. 51% of other cultures, blacks, Hispanics, Muslims are at the top of the list, have had more kids than white people, because white people just don't want to have kids anymore. You know, whether it's a white girl dating a black guy or a black girl dating a white guy, you know, even that way. The white race, white people are being eliminated. And I'm not saying this to be, I'm not racist. I'm not none of that. You're going to love who you're going to love. And I get that. But you need to understand, just as far as Americans, I mean, you need to start having a little bit more kids, guys, or else we're all going to be wiped out here soon. But, that's neither here nor there. The real problem right now that we have in this country, the top 2 are liberal white women and the Muslims. 3 Somalians as well, but they're right there with the Muslims. Somalians, I think, are far worse than Muslims. Somalians are just fucking, yeah. But somehow they were able to defraud the American government out of billions of dollars, and yet y'all think something's going to happen there? Nah, ain't nothing going to happen. That money's gone. That money is long gone. We'll never see anything. Nobody will get arrested. Why do you think Tim Walz is not running for governor? Hell, he even said that he's not going to run for political office ever again. You want to ask yourself why? Well, it's because once he gets out of the political spectrum, Congress can't bring him in anymore. And that's why that's happening. And not to mention the fact that you don't just get out of politics, folks. You just don't when you're a career politician, you just don't leave unless you're told you have to. Unless you're told that, and by what I mean by you have to, you have an ultimatum. You either leave or you go to jail or you're going to end up 6 feet under. Let's just be honest. That's what happens. Career politicians don't leave unless they're told they have to leave. Luckily, they told the likes of Chuck Schumer that he's got to leave. Thank God. Nancy Pelosi's gone. But again, they're also leaving. Well, Dick Durbin's leaving as well. But these politicians are leaving not only because they were told to, but because they have ties to stuff that's a little bit deeper than a lot of people want to realize at this point. We'll get into that in another show because that is a very deep, deep dive. We know these politicians are corrupt. Again, power corrupts people. Money corrupts people. How do you think any of these fucking politicians are millionaires now? Look at Ilhan Omar. She's worth $40 million. And don't even sit there and say that was all because she owns businesses. She didn't own shit when she came here. She got into politics at a salary of $150,000. And now she's a multimillionaire. That doesn't happen by chance. If you notice, every single fucking politician is a multimillionaire. It's by design. You don't think insider trading is real? If you don't think that's not real, you really need to get your fucking head checked. Because how else are they going to get that kind of money? I know that all these bills, new laws that come in, they already have them written. They have a think tank in D.C. that does that, in Virginia. And they're just waiting for the right opportunity to release them. And then once they release those new bills and those new laws, they have a senator or a congressman sign off on it. And that senator and congressman, if you don't get a kickback, you're sadly mistaken. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't think she made some money off this? Hell, she made sure she stayed in office right up until the time where she can get her full federal pension. Interesting enough, she became multimillionaire while in office. And it's funny. On the conservative side, you have some influencers that will sit there and, it's like they'll suck Trump's dick left and right. When fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene was all up on this whole Epstein list and releasing it, Every fucking right-wing influencer was completely against her. But just days prior, they were all for her. Again, connect the dots. It's very easy as long as you're open to it. So yeah. What else did I do? I did some other stuff. Some other videos that were pretty important. Oh, yes. Don Lemon. Wasn't it ironic that he got arrested? I mean, even after the federal courts said, we're not going to sign off on this. And then all of a sudden he gets arrested, gets released right away, gets a slap on the wrist. And it was funny because a lot of you fucking conservatives, man, you guys jumped right on there right when he got arrested. Oh, yeah, we finally have accountability. We have it. This guy's going to jail. He's getting arrested. And here he was getting out right away. Folks, again, conservatives, come on. Don't be as dumb as your counterpart liberals, please, because you're looking like that. Let me explain this to you. Don Lemon isn't going to jail. He's not going to serve any time. He's not going to have any fines. Nothing's going to happen to him. Just like nothing's going to happen to any of these people that are in these fucking riots. Nothing's going to happen to them because it's by design. See, Don Lemon, he's going to do a fucking national tour, with media. And he's going to denounce ICE. He's going to denounce fucking the Trump administration. He's going to denounce and demonize everything underneath the sun while collecting a paycheck underneath the table. That's what's going to happen. And if you don't think so, you need to wake up because that's exactly what's going on. If you don't believe me, just wait. And when it happens, I'm going to tell you, I fucking told you so. I promise you I will. With that, I think that's where I'm going to leave it today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the new music that I have for the intro and the outro. I want to thank David Allen for the music. You can find him at David Allen Palmer on Instagram and Facebook. Go give him a follow. He was the one that wrote the music and the lyrics and produced it, all that fun stuff. And it's allowed me to have the song for this show. So, David, I want to thank you again for that. Now, guys, if you like my rants, if you like what you hear here, don't forget to follow me over there on social media. I'm heavily active over there on Instagram and Facebook. And in the bio, you're going to find two links. You're going to find a link that takes you right to the website, thehammerdrops.com. The other link is going to take you to, it's a little link tree. You just open it up, and it's going to take you to all the other places you can find my rants, including YouTube and where the podcast is available at, Spotify, iTunes. I'm also available on basically every fucking podcast platform out there. But, let's just be honest, Spotify, iTunes, or Apple, whatever you want to call it, are the two biggest ones. So go check it out there. While you're there, don't forget to, and it takes 2 seconds, just leave a review. Give me a 5-star, 4-star, whatever you think. Give me a 5-star. When you're over on the YouTube channel watching this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So this way you keep up to date on all my rants, my shorts, and all that stuff that I've been posting, because I'm trying to build up that as well. And don't forget, every Tuesday and Thursday, you can hear me over on the Savagely Loud podcast, where I am the co-host over there as well. So, guys, always be ruthless. And for God's sakes, don't let the government control you. Use your fucking mind and realize what you're seeing is just theater. We'll see you guys next week.
Just a voice in the middle, calling out the